Team Utsahan. I'm very excited, to participate in this forum where I get a chance to speak about role of technology in education. And thank you for, the Team Utsahan and, the key designatories who have provided me with this, opportunity to speak about role of technology in education in this esteemed forum. So when I got this particular topic, it was so intriguing that I felt the importance of teachers itself is very important for building a better community, because teachers have to be good learners. And if you learn well, you can teach well. And then you are able to build a better community by improving the livelihood, teaching what is good, teaching what is bad, how to make the right decisions. These are very crucial in our day-to-day life. Of course, experience is the best teacher. Nobody can, beat that. But having said that, we are all hit with this COVID-19, right? So people can think about, oh, should I take this as an opportunity, or should I take this as, okay, let me take a, pause and step back and do something else. So human decisions are based on their past experience. And of course, we also share experiences with, our peers, our gurus, in various art forms and things of that nature. So the key question happened, sometime in March, especially, being a parent of two boys, whether to provide them online education, which is, homeschooling, or e-learning, or should I send them to school? Especially, here in America, the COVID-19 cases were rising at the year beginning, and you all, would have heard the news. So it was a key decision for all the parents, including my friends, and fellow, cousins and people whom I have been part of this community. So the point was homeschooling. So I was pretty concrete in homeschooling. The reason being, I didn't think about the impact. I didn't think about, what's important. The most important thing is health. Health is wealth. If you don't have health, then there's no point in having a, future at all. So you want to make the right decisions at the right time. So having said that, one of my previous experiences was, studying in BITS Pilani. I think BITS Pilani, at the very early stage itself, 18 years ago, they had the DLPD program, which is a distance learning program. And in that, professors who were probably, used to traditional teaching, classroom teaching, were able to take online sessions. So they had an online portal, and we used to have a video call where, of course, students won't have the video, but at least the professor will have the video. And there used to be a chat where you can interactively ask questions and, use a phone and, ask questions as well. So I was a recipient of that. So having said that, I had a great experience. I said, okay, let's go ahead and do that. So experience is the best teacher. So how impactful it is all up to an individual on how you take it and how you implement it, moving forward. The other question is, when you have these kind of homeschooling and online education, or effect of online education on, various students of different grades, you have kindergarten to, middle school to, high school, then high school to college, and undergraduation and post-graduation and what have you, right? So every phase is different, and parents have to have a very important impact on your kids in terms of how to take these technologies into consideration and make the best use of it. So basically, teaching them do's and don'ts. And especially for teachers, right? When they are on the online side of things, the usage of technology, sometimes, teachers think that, will it prevent my student from thinking beyond, or thinking beyond a certain level? Or will it curb their thinking to only certain level because they're just housed at home, and they are not having social interaction or physical interaction with their friends and with their teachers? That may not be the case. I have seen that the positives are, you get a lot of time to study because you reduce travel. And the only negative, that I would see probably is networking. and sharing of your ideas spontaneously. I think that's going to change and it's going to evolve. And education has evolved over the last, at least 20 years or so. And even before the pandemic, hit us, I think we were all well prepared. I think all the teachers were well prepared. The other thing is, even art, music. I've seen, kids and people taking online sessions via Skype, via Zoom. So that has been prevalent, and people who have, who are aged even 60 and 70 and above are very comfortable with, some of these, technologies and usage. So I won't say that, it is difficult for teachers to accept technology and move forward. You have to do whatever it takes. And think about it this way. Teaching is so important that sometimes it becomes a low-lying, area where you don't get paid. Sometimes you lose jobs. And having online technology keeps the teaching community alive. You're able to, pay them Guru Dakshina fees, and make sure that their livelihood is, there. Plus, you are able to take their knowledge, and this continues, and we have to continue this. This is so important, whether you're rich, poor, middle class, what have you. But it's very important for us to, have that, process continued all the way through. The other thing is, what else will prevent the individual from thinking? To a certain extent, yes, because you're missing the physical, touch with the professor, physical touch with your peers, maybe top class students who are talking. But nowadays you have blogs, you have chat messages, you are able to, instantaneously chat whether this is right or wrong. Hey, I found this in Google. Hey, I found this particular blog. Can you check it? This is a new author, new book. So you're able to share it very quickly. So the access to information is extremely fast. So that's the best part of it. You can validate your info, you can comprehend, you can analyze the data, and you can expand your venues beyond the classroom. You're having 1,000+ resources in the form of people and books that you have at your hand, online. But you're confined to your seat, so you may have to move around and do a little bit. But I think it's going to be a balance. The future is going to be a balance of both networking, via the online, as well as in-person classes, which could be 1 or 2 days in a week, which is what is happening in some of the universities over here. Some of the advantages of using technologies, I felt that MOOC, Udemy type of online courses are pretty comprehensive. I myself have taken data analytics classes and sessions, and it has been very helpful for our internal employees training. Some of the test certifications, AWS related certifications, the online courses are very, very effective. There's enough material online to comprehend and analyze the data and understand the concepts better. Some of the key areas, like for example, civil engineering, mechanical, chemical, labs won't be accessible. I think that is where the negativity comes in. But I think eventually there are going to be some more progressions where you have these 1 or 2 days worth of limited number of people to reduce the number of crowd and go and do your experiments in the classrooms or in the labs. So I think that is going to evolve as we progress. So that is one of the shortcomings. The other thing is, I've always had people ask questions saying that people who are aged, 60 and above, 70 and above, they're great teachers, and they believe in traditional Gurukul type, classes. How will they adapt to this new technology? Now, the best example is my father. He is 70, and he is taking Sanskrit classes now. And because of the pandemic and everything, he started Sanskrit classes in March of this year. And the teacher who takes the class is about 75 plus. It is so effective. They are very quick in Zoom or Google Duo, which are the online meeting sessions. And they have portals. There are so many open source portals available that they're able to share instantaneously and comprehend the material, talk, discuss. They have discussion sessions. I was amazed because my father is not hands-on on technology. I used to be the technical support. You can imagine. But they are pretty comfortable. They're so comfortable with the iPads and FaceTimes and what have you. So technology is being widely accepted. So we should not be negative. It's being widely accepted, and it is quite prevalent. The other thing is, what is the future going to look like in another 10 years? I think I'm going to do a quick time check. I have maybe a couple of minutes. The future of technology in 10 years, especially in online education, I feel that the virtual reality, VR, technology is going to be extremely efficient in bringing people close in a virtual reality format, which means that you can have whatever devices you want to have, like an Oculus, and fit it in, and you can have a real classroom session within your basement or within your room and interact with peers or your fellow students and with your teachers in real time while the classroom is happening. So it's going to be an extremely safe, viable fit moving forward. There's also hologram, which is picking up now, and the future of these technologies is going to change the way we look at education, as such. And the education landscape has no limits, no bounds. I mean, in virtual reality, even archaeology type of sessions are happening, which I do have a little bit of interest over. And some of these virtual reality sessions on archaeology, you're actually able to go to that particular place and see it. Though you're not able to feel it, that would be missing, but at least you're able to see and learn and comprehend the various art forms and what happened from 1 BC to the 18th century, and it's quite amazing. So we as teachers, and I also request all the teachers around the world, especially the viewers, we should be ready to embrace these advancements to technology and implementing that in education and spread our knowledge to the world. And that's going to make a better community and better livelihood for everybody. So namaste and thank you so much.